know one of the worst saboteurs of your skincare routine? Stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Christine Byer here, licensed esthetician for 20 years. And what I see on new clients over and over and over is dehydrated skin. And if you have dehydrated skin, your skin is peely, it's itchy, it looks dull and dry. And why do we get dehydrated skin? There are many reasons, but a lot of times it's diet. It can be environment. Right now it is so dry in the northern hemisphere because it's winter. I sleep with a little diffuser right next to my bed. That helps a ton. But a lot of times we need to look at diet. And this just reminds me of a client I had when I lived in Miami. I worked in Miami. And this was years ago. And this gal, she was a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and she had lots of stress. And if you think about Miami's climate, and she was still peely. When I would work on her, her skin would still sort of crumble and peely, be peely and flaky. And I'd be like, come on, what is this? You're on great products. And I finally talked her into trying a multivitamin. She just was anti-supplement, but I was just like, please just take a multi. And finally she came in, I was working on her. I was like, your skin's intact. What changed? And she's like, oh, I started taking a multi. So you just never know what's causing dehydration. A lot of times we do know. Sometimes it's too harsh of products. Sometimes it's medications. Sometimes it's devices. As much as we love our devices, they can cause irritation and redness. And if our skin is not super saturated and hydrated so that it can process these treatments, it's not going to look as good as it can. This reminds me of a story of a gal, and I saw her, I believe, here. It's been maybe 4 years ago, and she had gotten the new face and was really excited about it. And she's like, I don't know what's going on, but I think I burnt my face. And I thought, interesting. So I don't know if they've updated their seaweed mask and maybe it's better now, but so she had tried that. So I said, come on in, let me show you how to use it and see what's going on. And I'm not crazy about the new face because it tends to be really snappy and zappy, and it has this revolving frequency that just says snap, 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 snap every 2 to 3 seconds. And it's kind of the same thing over and over, but its voltage is higher. The one I use has a lower voltage and it randomized frequencies, and it tends to be gentler, but gets a great result. So she came in, and lo and behold, she had such dehydrated skin. And the first place I like to look is your cleanser. Now, cleansers have come a long way since I first got into the business. It seemed like a lye-based cleanser was as good as it got over the counter, like in the drugstore. Now the pH of cleansers are getting lower and lower, and they're actually closer to the skin's pH. And that's really important. A gentle cleanser, but not like a shellacquering, oily, gross cleanser. But I mean, maybe to take your makeup off, but a gentle cleanser that's pH balanced to the skin. So it's not saying, oh, what is this? Nothing too alkaline. And so we changed up her cleanser. We changed up a few products. I did a light peel and talked about really, really saturating our skin before treatment. And she did recover, and she discovered the miracles of microcurrent and how well it works on saturated skin. So this is what I see a lot, especially in my older clientele. Maybe they've got some glycation, maybe they're using the wrong cleanser, or they're just not adding very many layers of hydration. And they'll come in, and I have to work the skin so much and massage it and really work in hydration, do a little peel, something to start to mold and craft that skin and get it to absorb some moisture because it's been dried out for so long. So these are the factors that can cause dehydrated skin, and it will be the number one deciding factor and if your skin looks good or not and does well with the skincare routine. Now, I remember back in the days of Obagi, where you did this constant peeling and people's faces were just molting all the time, the Obagi peel and their whole home routine. And really only the toughest, most leathery skins and most acneic skins could actually deal with that. And to tell you the truth, they really couldn't. They really were just dying for water hydration, not a bunch of grease and oil, but water hydration. And my acne clients, I don't have a ton anymore, but that's one of the first things we're working on is water balance in the skin. Because when there's not enough hydration in the skin, when the water is gone, the skin will replace it with its natural oils, or it will attempt to. Now, if you have a drier skin type, this is not always what happens, but if you have a normal to oily skin, it definitely happens. I've got some oil going on right now. If you're doing a retinol and you're not used to it, even if you are used to it, it's good to layer a water-based, an essence or a layer of hydration, but a layer of water-based hydration is good to layer in there. And I've been working with these ampules. They're called different things, but they can be called essence, ampules, toners, but they're not like your mom's toner where it's like sea breeze or something like that. They're actually water-based toners that just add a little layer of hydration into the skin before you seal it all in with your moisturizer. So we have environment, medications, lack of nutrients in the skin, in the body, and a lack of hydration in the body overall. If you are a big coffee drinker, if you have a lot of alcohol, or even over eight glasses in a week, you can start to see it on your skin. It just gets very dehydrated. And people are like, oh no, I drink a ton of water. The truth is your internal organs, they get all that water first. I mean, it eventually sort of filters out and you can see it in somebody's face if they're a big water drinker or not. But if you're using the wrong products, or if you're in a very dry environment, you can drink all the water you can stand and you're still going to have dried out skin or dehydrated skin. There are the causes of it. And I would say in the past, Americans always thought wash, moisturize. And then it was wash, serum, moisturize. And then it was wash, serum, moisturize. But now it's wash, serum, and then a couple layers of an essence, and then moisturize. And this is really a Korean way of thinking. And a few months ago, I did a video on the 7 skins, which is the Korean way of saying 7 layers of hydration. And so they, from early ages, start this just shellacking of the face, but with water-based products. And then they seal it in with something thicker, something oil-based, or with some oils in it. So that seems like a better idea to me. And I just remember going out in my 20s and seeing people who are older than me, and living up here in Indiana, it's like it would be in the winter and their skin would look so dehydrated. And this is before I became an esthetician. And I remember just looking at that dried up, dry as paper, dry as chips, as my husband says, skin. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's just the skin almost looks like it hurts. It's so dry. That's starting to change. You see it on YouTube where the word gets out. It's like, oh, I need to layer up hydration, water hydration. So it's changing, and I'm glad, because really I think the Koreans have the lock on glass skin or very hydrated looking skin. It's just a smarter way to approach skincare. Now, if you are only doing these layers of hydration and these essences, you still will need a very active serum depending on what your skin needs. You still need that. You will still need some oomph to your skincare routine. A lot of these essences, because they're water-based, they're not as strong as a serum, but they are very valuable and they are needed. It's a very necessary part. And I was telling you the experiment I've been doing, where I've been doing retinol on my face every single day. I usually will do it 3 days a week, but I'm like, I want to get rid of some of this sun damage. So I've been doing it every single day, but I've also been layering in 3 or 4 skins of hydration. So see 3 or 4 layers of hydration. And I'll just sit there, I'll pat it in. You know, it's also a lesson in patience. I'll pat it in and I'll wait. And the very last thing I put on is my retinol because it's encapsulated. And in the morning, I wake up and my skin is beautiful. I just love that look. So dehydrated skin, don't let it stop you from getting the best results possible. Make sure you add in an essence or an ampule or some sort of layers of hydration in between your moisturizer, and top it all off with sunscreen during the day. That is, no matter what you're doing to your skin or what you're demanding from your skin, adding that little bit, just those drinks of water, really helps in making it look just fabulous. Thanks for watching. Bye now.